representing Cumberland. They come to the plate. The leadoff hitter, first baseman number 9, Greg Appleton.
Back at Harris Field in Lewiston, Idaho for the 2010 Avista NAIA World Series. The top half of the order for Cumberland here as they bat in the top half of the 5th inning. It's going to be Greg Appleton, Sam Kickla, followed by Matt Greener. Appleton takes ball 1 from Matthew Gilson, who finally ran into a little bit of trouble in the 4th inning, and he starts this inning off just the same, allowing a leadoff man to reach base.
Be interesting now as we start to go through the order the 3rd time today, what kind of adjustments are being made by the pitcher Matt Gilson, also by the hitters.
I think we saw so far the first 2 times around the lineup, Gilson did a pretty good job. We mentioned basically just that one mistake pitch to David Fanshaw, and Fanshaw made him pay. That's the reason why the score is 2-0 right now, is Kickla looks to sacrifice bunt. Playing a little small ball, not really normally in the cards for the Bulldogs, but looking to add a run any way they can apparently here. We'll see if they keep it on as Kickla takes the sign from his third base coach. Now, he steps back into the batter's box, waves his bat. Gilson comes set. The pitch swung on, laced into center field. Costantino started in, goes back, makes the catch as Appleton retreats to first base. One out here in the 5th.
Kickla's ball just hung in the air, and I think Costantino thought it wasn't going to stay up that long, because all of a sudden he kind of had to redirect the route and pull it in with his arm extended, going away from the plate.
Those are the hardest ones to judge. The line drives hit directly at you, and Costantino started in as we mentioned, but again, plenty of time to get back and make the grab. So it's going to be Matt Greener here stepping into the batter's box against Matthew Gilson. Takes the first pitch off speed, pitch down low, and last at bat, we saw Gilson attack Greener with a lot of soft stuff on the inside and pound him hard away. We'll see if he kind of sticks with that approach, hoping that Greener kind of spins on all the soft stuff inside. That one gets by Comfort and all the way to the backstop, and Appleton just trots into second base.
So the kind of mistakes you can't afford to make, especially when you're down 2-0 in the national championship, or down 2-0 in the national championship game and trying to get back in it.
We talk about mistakes, kind of compounding problems right there, because remember, Appleton was hit to lead off the inning, and now on the pass ball, you allow him to move up, give him a free pass and into second base, and the NAIA's most dangerous RBI man at the plate, 101 of them on the year. Gilson, fastball in the outside corner, misses just off the plate.
We were talking about this in the booth before the ball game, trying to get a perspective of just how many 101 runs driven in is. And I asked, what is the national record? And it's Lewis Clark State's Jim Odell that I believe holds that national runs batted in record.
136, back in 1983, I want to say. Gilson misses just away. As Greener now has a hitter's count, he's worked this one 3-1 in his advantage. Greener 1 for 2 so far in this ball game. Had a single back in the first, then Cade in the third. Hit a grand slam home run, and their 10-7 win over Embry-Riddle earlier today. That pitch misses just low, and Greener now takes the free pass down to first base, and it's going to be Chris Miller hitting with 2 ducks on the pond.
Saw this earlier today. You mentioned the grand slam against Point Loma. There were 2 errors at shortstop in that game that allowed the bags to get loaded and extend the inning, and Greener really made them pay.
Yeah, and you know, those errors were committed by Alex. I'm blanking on his last name.
His last
right
name
now.
was Cameron, and it's interesting.
Alex Cameron, and he's actually a
second baseman.
Yes, indeed, and he was a Gold Glover there. They bumped him over to shortstop, and he made 2 key errors in that game that extended the inning, and that was the result of Matt Greener's grand slam home run. That one tapped down the third baseline and foul.
We were looking at that. I believe Tyler Keel is the everyday shortstop for Point Loma. I don't know whether Keel had arm problems or what, but they swapped the 2 infielders. And for the most part, I suppose that you know, you go from one spot to the other, it's not that big a deal, but by the second, I don't know whether it is or not. You play all year at second, and all of a sudden you're at shortstop.
Pitch lifted towards left field, fairly shallow. Plenty of room for Seth Walker to handle this one. As Chris Miller flies out for the second out here in the 5th inning.
That's a big out right there, as you just get through a really hot bat and a powerful bat, but it doesn't get any easier as Troy Frazier steps in.
No, last time that Frazier faced the Flames, a little bit earlier in this tournament, he had 2 home runs against Lee. He had a solo shot in the 1st inning and then came back in the 2nd inning and hit a 3-run bomb. 2 guys on right now. We're going to see if he can do it again. The pitch from Gilson misses down low for ball 1.
You look at the Cumberland Bulldogs in this World Series. Kikla had 2 home runs in the game earlier today. Chris Miller had 2 home runs in the game on Saturday, I believe, or Monday, I should say. And this gentleman also has had a 2 home run game.
Gilson fires towards the plate, misses down low, and look at it right now. Gilson's done a pretty good job of working out of jams. Through the first 4 innings, he's stranded 4 Bulldogs base runners, looking to strand 2 more here in the 5th inning. Frazier, a guy with 67 RBIs entering this game. We mentioned those 22 home runs.
How hard would it be for him to get runs driven in? You have Greener with 101, 2 spots up in the order, and Miller 89. It's like you're getting table scraps when you come up to the plate behind those 2 guys.
Well, the thing is that Greener's hitting almost 500 himself. Chris Miller's hovering around 360. So as long as they don't hit the ball out of the yard, every now and then you're going to have a couple guys on base possibly.
So of the 67 RBI he has on the year, 22 was himself. There are only 45 other guys out there.
That's an easy way to tally up the RBI total. Just take care of it with 1 swing. The 3-1 offering by Gilson on the way. Swung on and missed by Frazier.
That looked like a changeup, and Frazier a day and a half in front of that pitch.
And a gutsy pitch by Gilson, a 3-1 change.
And he got the changeup in the zone, and that's not where you want to throw a changeup. You want it down around the thighs and dropping as he comes to the plate.
Now you miss up, you're going to start getting hurt by this Bulldogs lineup. The 3-2 offering on the way, misses down low, and now the bases are loaded for David Fanshaw, the man that last at-bat got the Bulldogs on the board. He's the reason right now why they lead 2-0. The 2-run home run to left center field, excuse me.
So Gilson has loaded them up. Cumberland University without the benefit of a base hit. Appleton hit by a pitch, walks to Greener with 1 out. The walk to Frazier with 2 out. Again, here's a guy that feeling pretty good about himself right now, so we're going to have a visit to the mound.
We've mentioned, though, Gilson's ability to just kind of work his way out of jams. In the first, he left 1 runner stranded, did it again in the 2nd. In the 3rd inning, he left 2 guys on base. Now he's trying to leave 3. Doesn't appear to be any action down in the Lee bullpen as we're still pretty early in this game. Have to imagine the leash is going to be pretty long on Gilson, who's been the Flames' ace all year long.
So Gilson has walked 4 in the ballgame. This guy that walked only 17 in over 93 innings of work this year, and he's given up almost a quarter of those walks in the first 4 2/3.
Well, you mentioned it a little bit earlier in this ball game, the fact that he's just kind of nibbling around the plate, trying to be a little too careful possibly, because I mean, obviously you don't want to lay it over the middle of the plate, but once you start issuing free passes to this Cumberland lineup and setting the table for these hitters that have been driving in runs all season, I mean, as a team, the Bulldogs are averaging almost 9 runs per game. That's one of the top numbers in the nation. You want to be fine, but not too fine to the point where you start missing and walking people.
Right now, Cumberland a chance to open this game up a little bit.
Off-speed pitch by Gilson, swung on and missed by Fanshaw at the plate.
David Fanshaw, 6 foot, 215-pounder. That's what I want my catcher to look like.
And he's been a tough kid all tournament long. He's taken a couple. I know that the last time these two teams played on Tuesday, he took a foul ball off his bare hand when he was catching, and guy got right back in there, and he took one off the mask again today as that ball gets away from Comfort, but not far enough for Appleton to move up. But yeah,
he took a shot today on what was to be a pitch out. And as he was reaching out to receive the pitch out, the ball was too close to the plate. The batter swung and hit him on the back of the hand for catcher's interference. So I asked the Cumberland broadcasting crew in the booth, I said, how is he? He said, he's fine.
He's a catcher.
Yeah.
They're used to that. They love it.
The other one that got hit was the shortstop, Kikla, as he got hit on the hand and in a bat this morning.
Yeah, he came right back. He left the game at the time, but immediately re-entered once the Bulldogs went back out on defense.
Yeah, I would think that the way those two play, that they're going to be in the lineup.
Gilson doesn't want to risk falling behind 3-1. That pitch singled up the middle by Fanshaw. Appleton's going to come on home. Following him is going to be Greener. And now the Bulldogs extend their lead out to 4 runs.
Got a good job of running by Frazier right there. He didn't even look to go to third. He just came around the bag and let the 2 guys score in front of him. Courtesy runner entering the ball game for Lee University. Or excuse me, for Cumberland University is coming into the game is going to be Jesse Bowman, the courtesy runner. Nice game for David Fanshaw so far.
Indeed, 4 RBIs, all 4 RBIs attributed to him. And you talk about hurting yourself. That was the first hit of the inning for the Bulldogs. Appleton let it off by getting hit by a pitch. After that, Greener walked, and Frazier walked as well. But David Fanshaw singles up the middle to plate 2 runs. Only 1 hit given up when there's Gilson's still not out of trouble as 2 runners are on base. And Max Couts comes to the plate. He fouls that pitch off over the first base dugout for strike 1.
You just have to respect their power so much that, as you talked about, Matt Gilson perhaps trying to be a little bit too fine. And all of a sudden he has found himself in a very difficult situation, now down 4-0.
Gilson takes a peek at the runner at second base, now comes to the plate. Fastball swung on off the hands of Couts down the first base line.
Gilson's got to get his club back into the dugout. Counts, however, the DH 0 for 2 in the ball game today. He fouled out to the catcher Taylor Comfort, and he was caught looking at a called third strike in the 4th inning.
Gilson comes set. Now comes to the plate. The 1-2 pitch misses off the inside corner to even the count at 2-2. And, you know, this is a Cumberland team that also knows how to close out ball games. You figure the Flames have to get out of this inning and start swinging the bats. Cumberland 39-0 when leading after 6 innings.
Well, they're 57-9 in games they played. So
not a whole lot of losses.
If they get to the ballpark, they have a chance to win.
Indeed. Gilson gets Couts swinging here to end the 5th inning, but 2 more runs score on a David Fanshaw 2-run RBI single. They lead this one right now 4-0 as we head into the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Souvenir balls and giveaway bags from Cap and Home are now being thrown out by the junior.
Right field. That's a changing of the speeds, really keeping them off balance. They really haven't gotten good rips at the pitches tonight.
Yeah, the only solid swing of the entire ball game really was J.J. Costanito, in his second at-bat, he laced that pitch right back up the middle, but the double that he hit to lead off the game was just a blooper that he basically beat out to second base, dropped that one out in left center field. The only other hit of the game was Junior Rodriguez, and that was just kind of an end-of-the-bat cue shot that floated out into right center field and found a little bit of turf that settled down, and that's really been it, though. Only 3 hits allowed and only 4 base runners total by Wilkerson.
Taylor Comfort 0 for 1 in the ball game today. Had a pop-up back to the mound. Eventually, I believe it was the first baseman Appleton that made the play on it. If I remember that correctly, we were kind of kidding about Wilkerson not being allowed to make that play.
You're right. You're actually right, yeah. Those non-athletic pitchers that throw 95 miles an hour.
Yeah. What I like is Point Loma. Their pitchers play. Look at Stephen Winnick out there, got the job done on the mound and in the field.
Yeah, led that Sea Lions team with a .364 batting average, was also 8-3 on the bump. And check this, he was also an all-conference Gold Glover. Talk about an all-around player. That pitch lifted into shallow center field. Coming in to try and make the play, it's going to be David Ware, and he does for out number 2.
Almost looked for a moment like Ware didn't pick up that ball right away coming off the bat as he really picked up the speed and made his way in.
Kind of a weird time of night, the kind of the twilight time where the ball is almost the same color of the sky, and once it gets up above those lights, it can be really hard to pick up.
New lighting project here, 2 years ago, put in last year. Terrific. I mean, it is just about as good as you're going to find at a NAI ballpark anywhere in the country. Really have done some really nice things over the year, and we're enjoying one of them sitting in the new press box.
Yeah, press box a couple years ago, lighting this year, and I don't know if you've had a chance, but right as you stroll into the stadium, they've added to their wall of fame, essentially. They have all the guys, all the Lewis Clark State Warriors that have made the big leagues, and now they've added to that pictures of all 16 national championships teams. It's really a nice facility. Trey Bergstrom now into the batter's box, struck out back in the third. He takes strike 1 from Wilkerson. The second pitch misses up high for ball 1.
We are working on funding a new baseball stadium at the College of Idaho, and they have done so many nice things at this ballpark that when I'm thinking about what's going into the new stadium down there, a lot of the same components come into play.
Fastball swung on and fouled back behind home plate by Bergstrom. The count goes to 1-2.
What I don't want is Harris Field South. But they just have done some really nice things up here and have done it economically. I mean, it looks terrific, but the way it's been designed has been to limit the cash outlay for it.
It's unbelievable how well this field's held up with all the water that's been dumped on it this week too. The 1-2 pitch on the way from Wilkerson. We'll do it again.
I can't believe how much water this field has taken over the past week. I got into town last Thursday afternoon, and it was flat coming down that day. And then we had the rain all day. What was it, Monday? It was a Memorial Day that it just rained on and off all day?
Yeah, on and off all day. Yeah, that Cal Baptist game against Point Loma, it rained pretty steady the entire way through that game, but they were still able to get it in. The 1-2 again, fouled off. And actually, yesterday, baseball or an entire day at the NAI World Series wiped out for the first time since 1996, and that's back when the tournament was in Sioux Falls.
Actually, it was in Des Moines, Iowa, is where that tournament was.
Okay.
And we're talking to Jim Browett. Lewis Clark State played in a ball game that from start to finish was 65 hours.
Indeed, yes, because the game was suspended over 2 days. Check down the first base.
Yeah, they didn't play the whole 65 hours. There are a couple of rain delays stuck in there, but
Larry Randall says Trey Bergstrom didn't go around, and coincidentally enough, one of those teams playing tonight, Cumberland. They're taking on Lewis Clark State, as you mentioned. So Bergstrom battling with Wilkerson here. The 2-2 pitch misses just low as the count runs full.
Like on a string, the middle infielders, Kikla and Murphy, began trotting toward the dugout, and they're back out there now with the count full. They thought Wilkerson had gotten strike 3.
Bergstrom made the 27th out the last ball game, lined out to first base as that pitch is fouled off over the first base dugout. Again, these two teams met a little earlier in this tournament, a slugfest, which Cumberland won 11-9. Not really the case tonight, as it's the Bulldogs up on top of the Flames, 4-0 here as we're in the 5th inning.
You know, Wilkerson has not pitched. Well, they've only played 2 times. But he did not pitch in that regular season 17-16 ball game, nor did he pitch in the ball game, obviously, on Tuesday night.
So the 9th pitch of the at-bat on the way from Wilkerson. And we'll do it again.
It was Keith Kirby that started the regular season game. That ball game played at Cumberland, 17-16 win. Adam Sprague, of course, the starter on Tuesday, only lasted 2/3 of an inning, and in fact came back today and I believe got the complete game victory. And again, that was a big comeback on the turnaround with Sprague that allows all the arms to be ready and raring to go.
Fouled off, and it's going to take at least one more pitch. 11 pitch at bat here by Trey Bergstrom.
Bergstrom really putting up a battle, a guy that's hitting over 300. Not a lot of power. In 62 ball games, 8 doubles and 3 home runs, but they may ask fans to start giving the balls back because he is depleting the supply rather quickly.
Well, this at-bat might be even bigger than a base hit right now because you're looking at a guy that out on the mound that's cruised through the first 4 innings, and now he's thrown 12 pitches this at-bat as Bergstrom draws the walk. A big at-bat and trying to get that pitch count up and maybe getting into the Cumberland bullpen.
Now you go to J.J. Costantino, guy that's got a couple of hits in the ball game. Not a bad guy to have at the plate if you're trying to put together a 2-out rally. And Lee really needs to get things going.
Yeah, he doubled to lead off this game in the first, then singled in the third. On the tournament, he's now 10 for 18, so he has been swinging it well here in Lewiston.
First team All-American, and we're seeing why.
Not a whole lot of power, but maybe he can put one in the gap with Bergstrom's speed, and the Flames might be able to get on the board.
California kid, he's out of Fontana.
Takes that pitch over the inside corner for strike 1.
Idaho kid on the All-America team from Coeur d'Alene, but he played for York, Nebraska. Bruce Amende, junior from Coeur d'Alene. Kidding around earlier today. Guy I coached in Little League. Made honorable mention All-America.
That pitch catches the outside black.
Diego Robles out of the College of Idaho.
How about that?
Played on my son's Little League team and had a chance to coach Diego for a couple of years.
I'm not going to lie, it's not quite the resume that lines up with Woody Hunt or like an Ed Chef.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly,
you got to start
too bad.
somewhere.
It's baby steps. Wilkerson ahead 0-2 here on Costantino at the plate. That pitch swung on, lined into right field. Miller retreats towards the warning track, makes the catch over his shoulder, and that will end the bottom half of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. It's the Bulldogs up on top of the Flames right now. They lead this one 4-0. Well, after being shut out the first 3 innings, the Cumberland offense beginning to wake up. They scored 2 in the 4th, then 2 more in the 5th. As it's TJ Murphy that leads off, showing bunt here as we head into the 6th.
Murphy and Ware, the 8 and 9 hitters in the lineup, really the table setters for those Guys at the top of the order.
Pitch misses, low and away for ball one. Yeah, really, the 8 and 9 guys in this lineup don't have a whole lot of power, and it's kind of awkward that you would say that the 8 and 9 hitters are the table setters, but when your leadoff man and Greg Appleton has over 10 home runs on the year, you like to get guys on and say, hopefully he can drive a few more in. Nice play over at first base by Edgar Molina as he chests up the ground ball and takes it the easy way to first base for out number 1.
I think this is a big inning for Matt Gilson. He gave up the 2 in the 4th on the home run to Fanshaw, and then gave up the 2 on the 2-out, 2-run single by Fanshaw in the 5th. He kind of needs to get his mojo back a little bit.
Well, he started off the right way in the 4th inning when he allowed that 2-run home run. The leadoff man reached base, and then he allowed the leadoff man to reach base again in the 5th inning. So it's a big thing not allowing the tables to be set here for these guys on the Cumberland squad that have averaged almost 9 runs a game on the season.
Where a guy that you would like to keep off the base paths. He's 16 for 16 in stolen bases this year.
Pitch misses low and in the dirt.
Last thing you want to do is you face Greg Appleton, Sam Kikla, and Matt Greener up at the top of the order is have to worry about David Ware bouncing around over at first base. And Cumberland able to be fairly aggressive on the bases because of that 4-0 lead.
Just grabs the black on the outside corner as it's Gilson that works ahead 1 and 2.
Not a lot of hits in this ball game. Lee University has only put together 3 hits. Meanwhile, Cumberland, despite the 4-0 lead, has only picked up 6 hits in this game.
That pitch fouled off and into the Cumberland dugout.
You know, we were talking earlier. Cumberland wins. They are the national champions. If Lee rallies and wins this, there will be a second championship game tomorrow. The line of thought is get it started early with rain showers in the forecast. In case of any rain delays, you've got a lot of time to get the game played.
Yes, indeed. And as you said, Saturday isn't really an option right now, so they got to do everything they can to try and get this ball game in. And I tell you, it's not the fact that there's everybody is Cumberland fans around the ballpark, but they just don't want to try to figure out what they're going to have to do if we have to deal with showers again.
The 2-2 pitch down low.
Yeah, it looked like Ware thought about it, got out on his front foot, but able to hold off as the count runs to 3 and 2. Now it's Gilson trying to retire the 9-hitter before they turn it back over. This one tapped to third base, running in to make the play, Tanner Moore, but he bobbles it, has to hold on to it, and it's going to be an infield single, I do believe, by Ware.
I thought Tanner Moore did just about everything he could on that play. Again, Ware is the center fielder. We talked about him 16 for 16 in stolen bases, and he was scooting down the line.
Well, the way that Moore was charging that high hopper, he obviously knew that, did his homework, but just couldn't get the ball out of his glove in time. And now with 1 out here in the inning, we turn it back over to the top of the order, and Greg Appleton, who's been swinging a hot stick so far at the World Series. Tonight alone, he's 1 of 2. He has a single and was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Overall, though, 9 of 20 at the World Series. Takes a peek down at his third base coach. We're going to see if the Bulldogs want to put on anything right here. Infield set at double play depth. 1 out in the top half of the 6th. Gilson checking his man over at first base. A nice nonchalant throw as Ware is back in with ease. Gilson peers in at his catcher. Gets his sign from Taylor Comfort. Now, off with the pitch goes Ware. Throw down to second base and make it 17 for 17 on the season, as it's Ware who moves up into scoring position.
Looked like the swing took Appleton out near on top of the plate. Taylor Comfort trying to throw over the top of him. Immediately, no interference was the signal by Doug McClure. You get a look at those clouds off in the distance as nighttime begins to fall here.
It was a good job by Appleton kind of protecting his runner. And what you do by kind of lunging out over the plate is you do change the catcher's ability to have that direct throw right down to second base. You make him move a little bit for you, and obviously you can't go too far into home plate, but you do just enough to make the catcher a little uncomfortable throwing down to second base. Ware was able to take that one easily. He got a great jump, went first movement off the lefty and Gilson.
Appleton's had a nice tournament. He's hitting .421 here in the World Series.
That pitch fouled off down the third base line. His only home run of the series was against this Leaf Flames team. That, of course, back
Tuesday night.
On Tuesday night.
They all kind of run together after a while, don't they?
Indeed they do. You know, we mentioned their ability to hit the long ball after David Fanshaw connected for that round tripper in the fourth. The Cumberland Bulldogs are just one off tying the team NAI record set by the Lewis Clark State Warriors baseball team.
Which team was that?
I looked it up a little earlier. I thought that I said it was 1985, but
was it that club?
It's a pretty good ball club. Swung on a miss by Appleton, and he's down on strikes for the second out here in the inning.
That's a big strikeout right there. Now you have a chance to get out of this inning and keep this ball game where it is.
We talked about Gilson's ability to leave runners on base. He left one on base in each the first and the second inning, and then he's left a pair on base in the third and fifth inning. So he's been able to pitch out of trouble for the most part.
We're going to have a visit to the mound.
Mark Brew, the long, slow stroll to the mound, and
bullpen's ready if needed, aren't they?
Indeed they are, and I think
when it's that slow, it's generally
buying a little bit of time.
Yeah.
There's no need to rush anything. Get up there, and now he finally makes the move, it looks like, to the bullpen, and that's exactly what they do.
Get a good look right there at Matt Gilson, guy who has had a phenomenal year, a 10-0 record this year.
Yeah, this is the last time we'll probably see Matthew Gilson, a senior. We saw him last year. And again, he comes back to Lewiston and does a good job. And into the game, it's going to be the Lee workhorse, Aaron Everett. We saw him pitch 5 innings against Cumberland back on Tuesday, and he did an absolutely phenomenal job. Gave up just 1 run. I don't even think it belonged to him, though, as he entered with a man on base. Struck out 5, threw 66 pitches in that game. So we're going to see how...
2 nights ago, yeah.
Exactly. We're going to see how effective he is.
Aaron Everett, the right-hander, 6'3", 190-pound senior. He is out of Loudon, Tennessee. And as he gets set to go to work here, let's take a look at what kind of numbers Mr. Everett has put together this year. 208 earned run average. He's appeared in 24 ball games. All but one of those out of the bullpen. 7-6 record on the year. He has worked 56 1/3, given up 47 hits. He has struck out 58 in those 56 innings. He has walked 15, and he'll take over here as he tries to keep this game a 4-0 ball game.
Yeah, and he's a second-year member of the Flames squad. He redshirted last season in 2009. He's a transfer from the University of Tennessee. After pitching for the first couple seasons for the Vols, he got injured and kind of was the odd man out. Wound up at Lee, and he's had a phenomenal career here. It's only been a season, but he's provided a lot of quality innings and closed a lot of close ball games for Mark Brew's ball club. He has a good fastball and an even better slider. More of a 2-pitch pitcher, as he comes in here with a runner on second base in the 6th inning. See the slider first pitch strike to Kikla, who just so happens to be 0 for 2 on the day, but he did reach on a walk in the 3rd inning.
Gilson goes 5 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Struck out 7 and walked 4.
Book not closed on him, though. The runner out there at second base still belongs to him. Everett trying to leave him stranded there as he backs up a slider with another one.
Kikla this morning, or late morning, early afternoon, couple of home runs in that win over Point Loma.
Everett comes set on the mound, checks the runner at second base. Now finally comes to the plate, fastball low for ball 2.
Take a look at Kikla in this tournament, hitting .333, 6 hits. Half of those have been home runs.
Good-sized shortstop with a lot of power. Everett backs him off the plate, but falls behind 3-1 in the process. And again, we're talking about walking guys getting into the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in this lineup, and there's just no breaks, but you don't want to start setting the table for Matt Greener to eat off of. Pitch misses. Oh, catches the outside corner for strike 2. Kikla definitely thought it missed outside. I'm going to have to say I agreed with them, but count runs full as Kikla goes back and gets his bat and will step back into the batter's box.
Worked for a minor league ball club, the Angels organization, doing play-by-play for the Boise Hawks, and their skipper, Tom Kochman, said, you go down to first when they tell you can go down to first.
Yeah, you figure now anything close might go Everett's way. Slider misses off the inside corner. And you can see the home plate umpire, Doug McClure, looking over into an unhappy Lee Flames dugout. I'm not sure who was voicing their opinion. You have to imagine it was their head coach, Mark Brew, but he said he looks over and he says it was off the inside corner. Didn't look like it was by as much as
I was going to say, he said it was off by a foot. I'm like, I didn't think it was that far inside. Nonetheless, here's Greener.
Greener 1 for 2 in the ballgame, singled in the first, walked and came around to score in the 5th. He takes a healthy hack at that one, but fouls it off right in front of home plate.
Boy, it's a good thing his shoes were tied because he about jumped out of them on that swing.
He's a fun guy to watch in the batting cage because every swing he takes, he puts everything that he has into it. And the guy is kind of a dead pull hitter, but I tell you, if you miss something on the inside corner, he'll take you deep. He's done it 27 times this year.
What is interesting to me about Greener is a guy that finished the regular season with a batting average of .469. That was 8th in the nation. 8th. There were 7 guys that hit above .469 this year.
Were you one of them?
I was not.
Off-speed pitch, tap towards third. Moore has to make a play. Charging hard, toss over to Molina at first, the stretch, and he punches him out. He's got him for the 3rd and final out, and once again it's Everett coming on and dousing out the fire as Cumberland leaves 2 more aboard here in the 6th inning. Everett able to work out of the jam, but it's Cumberland that still leads 4-0.
This time we would like to thank Joe Hall Ford for being a major sponsor of the NAI World Series. Joe Hall, your place to find 3 great looking, great driving Nissans that get 35 plus miles per gallon. The Versa, the Sentra, and the Altima. Come see and drive them today at Joe Hall Nissan on 21st Street in Lewiston.
Well, it's Cumberland that leads this 2010 Avista NAI World Series Championship game over the Lee Flames, 4-0. 2 teams making the trip to Lewiston, almost 2,000 miles, but again, both of them hailing from the same state of Tennessee.
You're over there singing I Will Survive during the break.
Kind of a fitting song, though.
It really is for these 2 teams. They have survived this week.
Trying to help his team survive to play another day, Tanner Moore steps up to the plate. Now he calls time and backs out. 22 home runs on the year for Moore, hitting out of the 2-hole for Mark Brew's Lee Flames, a school record. Aaron Wilkerson been absolutely masterful so far as he comes in the back door with the off-speed pitch to jump ahead of Moore. 0-1, but again, only 3 hits here for the Flames up until this point. As Wilkerson has been masterful through the first 5 innings. Another backdoor slider over for strike 2.
You talked about Aaron Everett coming in and getting the job as he gets that ground out by Greener to shut down that threat. Let's see if Lee University can take some of that momentum and turn it into their offense.
0-2 pitch on the way. Another off-speed pitch tapped over the head of Wilkerson. Makes an athletic play. Tosses over to first and plenty of time to retire Moore for the first out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
That was a nice play.
Indeed.
I mean, he can catch a pop-up. You'll give him a chance. But he makes that play coming back. You'll see it there. And then just the soft toss to get Moore going down the line.
Lee has to get something going on offense.
Yeah, they're starting to run out of innings.
At least a little bit of momentum going. Junior Rodriguez, one of the 3 hits this Flames team has put together tonight, but it was just kind of a soft dinker into left center field. That pitch hit rather well towards the shortstop, and Sam Kick led the toss a little low over to Greg Appleton at first. Nonetheless, it's out number 2.
Wilkerson just continues to impress me. He's given up 3 hits over 5 2/3. Not a lot of strikeouts. He has 4 strikeouts, couple of walks, but he has just been so consistent all night long.
His pitch count coming into this inning was 79. Doing plenty to help him out there, though. Just 3 pitches in, and he has 2 outs, and the 4th pitch is over for a strike.
And as you look back over the score sheet of this ball game, there has only been 1 runner for Lee that has advanced beyond first base. That was J.J. Costantino with a leadoff double out into left center, and then he stole third and was stranded there.
That was way back in the 1st inning, and that's as close as Lee has come to scoring, as you said.
I stand corrected. Costantino again got to second in the 3rd inning when he singled into center and moved up on a errant pickoff attempt.
Pitch popped up, back behind home plate, but well out of play.
And he really just has not allowed Lee to put anything together. The double in the 1st inning, a 2-out walk in the 2nd, or a 1-out walk in the 2nd inning, a 2-out single in the 3rd, a leadoff single in the 4th, a 2-out base on balls in the 5th. They just have not had a chance to string anything together.
The guy that has taken some good hacks against Wilkerson tonight has been this guy at the plate, though. Fouled off a few fastballs in his last at-bat, actually. It ended in a K, but it seemed like he had Wilkerson's fastball time, so we'll see if Jose Cuevas can come up with a little something right here. The 2-2 pitch. As Wilkerson takes a step, now he kicks, winds, and delivers towards the plate. Fastball fouled straight back over home plate. Another good hack by Cuevas.
16 outings this year, 14 starts. Wilkerson with a 2.05 earned run average. That means that he never really went out there on any given day and let things get away. I mean, it is hard to have a low earned run average. You cannot have a bad day.
Yeah, and he's actually 13 wins on the year, the 2nd most in school history. And talk about a guy that likes to finish what he starts. That pitch just misses to Cuevas. A guy that likes to finish what he starts, 10 complete games on the year. So if you give him the rock, he's going to go out there and get a job done. That pitch just missed. The full count offering. Swung on, popped up in the infield. Infield collides, and it's going to be Sam Kikla that comes down with it. 3 up, 3 down, and it's Wilkerson that continues to cruise through the Lee Flames lineup. Just 3 hits for Lee so far. It's Cumberland that leads this NAI championship game 4-0.
Drawing will be held later tonight, but right now we have another drawing. It's for $600. It's a white and red ticket if you've bought it.
Well, Aaron Everett back out for the Lee Flames, taking the bump to begin his 2nd inning of work. He came on and got Lee out of a jam back in the top half of the 6th inning. So far, it's been all Bulldogs on offense as Chris Miller steps into the plate.
Miller, the right fielder. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game today. Again, he has had a spectacular World Series. Pitch delivered outside, ball 1. Everett came into the ball game, walked Sam Kikla, but then got Matt Greener to ground out to shortstop and ended a threat in the top half of the 6th. He goes to work here in the 7th. 1-0, drops in the curveball. It is a ball and a strike. 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Cumberland. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Lee. The 4, 5, 6 hitters due up here in the 7th inning for Cumberland. Swung on, that ball laid out into the gap into left center. As Chris Miller just kind of reaches out and pokes that out there. Leadoff single for the right fielder. And this will bring up Troy Frazier.
You know, we talked about the stature of a majority of these Cumberland hitters, and they're not very big, but they're plenty strong. And right there you see a little bit of Chris Miller's strength gets fooled by the off-speed pitch by Everett, and he's able just to get enough bat on the ball and dink it out there into left center field, and now it's Cumberland who has a leadoff runner to begin the 7th inning.
Take a look at Frazier, the left fielder. First offering, down low, ball 1. Troy Frazier out of Louisville, Kentucky. 6 foot, 205 pounds senior.
One of those 36 new players, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, brought in by Woody Hunt. A heck of a job by Woody Hunt to be able to bring in that many players and to get them to play that well together. And I think the one thing that even surprises me most is talking with them, Coach Hunt, a little earlier around the tournament. He says this is just a tight group of guys. They love each other, love being around each other, and it sure shows. They've had a lot of fun so far at the World Series, but when you've also hit 15 jacks, it's easy to have a pretty good party.
Yeah, when you're undefeated, there's a lot of guys having a good time, aren't they? Troy Frazier has the count now at no balls, 2 strikes, as Aaron Everett works here in the top half of the 7th inning. It just doesn't come automatically either that you get that kind of team camaraderie. You know, we talked about the number of transfers. A lot of guys are the alpha dog, and you got to learn how to check the ego at the door, be part of the team, who's leaders, that kind of thing. Somehow they have put that together this year. Right now are 9 outs away from being the national champions. Pitch delivered. Boy, a lot of movement on that offering up by Everett there. Out of the zone, Comfort goes and gets it, but I think moved about 3 feet.
Yeah, he's got a heck of a slider. We mentioned it, a plus fastball, but just a nasty slider as well. And he usually throws it, or he's got pretty good control of it. He can really get it over.
The 3-2 pounded off the plate to the shortstop, Cuevas. He bobbles the ball, will throw to first. Everybody's safe. Boy, shortstops in this tournament have really had a difficult go, haven't they?
Indeed they have, and you know, you have to wonder, we've talked a couple times about all the rain, and there's a whole lot of diamond dry out on this field at this point in time in the series, and while the field is played pretty well, it's probably not as smooth as it normally is on a day-to-day basis during the regular season. Here's an interesting pinch runner as Adam Sprague comes in to run for Chris Miller. Adam Sprague threw a complete game this morning in the win over Point Loma. Yeah, as long as he doesn't have to throw anything while he's running, he's going to be just fine. But he heads out and runs at second base. A lot of the errors that I have seen have not been fielding errors. They've been dropping the baseball on the transfer. That was the case right there by Cuevas, you're right. So the error has now Adam Sprague running for Chris Miller down at second base. Troy Frazier aboard at first, and the hero of the night is at the plate. Well, one of a couple heroes, as David Fanshaw has 4 runs driven in this 4-0 ball game. All 4 so far by the Bulldogs. The turn, and they will look Sprague back to the bag at second base. A leadoff single by Chris Miller. I don't know if they had a chance at a double play ball there, but they certainly were going to get the lead runner. Yeah, I agree. The ball, I mean, it took a pretty good hop off the bat, but even though the runner moving down the line, Frazier has decent speed, they turn it quickly. They could have got a double play, but at least one, as you said.
Fanshawe looks at a called strike. No balls, one strike. Nobody out, 2 on here in the top half of the 7th inning. Aaron Everett, fastball down. It is 1 ball, 1 strike. Fanshawe tonight struck out in the 2nd inning. Things got dramatically better for him in the 4th as he runs a 2-run home run out in left center, his 13th of the year. Delivered a 2-out, 2-run single to center field in the 5th inning. So a couple of hits, 4 runs driven in. He scored a run himself. That pitch called strike. It is 1-2 on Dave Fanshawe. Max Counts waits in the on-deck circle. Cumberland wins this ball game. This World Series is over. If Lee rallies, we play another day.
And I think another thing that haven't really had the chance to talk about Fanshawe yet is the fact that, he calls his own game, and he's helped this pitching staff post a 7.33 ERA. That's 11th best in the nation. A guy that knows his baseball.
The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, strike 3, and he will head back to the dugout after looking at the curveball. And he is gone. There is one away here in the top of the 7th inning, and it's the designated hitter, Max Couch. Counts tonight has fouled out to the catcher, struck out twice. He went down looking in the 4th. He went down swinging in the 5th. 2 on, 1 out.
Counts well put together, 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, a senior out of Palo Alto, California. Kind of struggled over the first half of the season, but really began to heat up.
That ball popped up. They may have a chance. No. The catcher, Comfort, pounces on that. Runners were moving as the bunt went down, and you hear the round of applause for Taylor Comfort. Lee University's fans have been out in force and having a ball at this tournament.
It's been a big part of it has been the support of the moms. I tell you, they've even in that Lewis Clark State game the other night, the Warriors playing in their hometown, it almost felt like we were 2,000 miles away playing at Lee's home ballpark because they sucked the energy out of this place from the first pitch.
TJ Murphy, the batter, the second baseman, as Aaron Everett tries to shut down a mini rally here in the top half of the 7th inning. Pitch is going to miss. Ball 1 to TJ Murphy.
A 4-0 lead for the Bulldogs, but it could be a lot worse. Through 6 innings, Lee has been able to strand 8 runners out there on base, so limiting the damage.
The 1-0, strike called. It is 1 ball, 1 strike on TJ Murphy, the 5'10", 175-pound junior second baseman. Swings it as a left-hander. He has reached on an inning-ending fielder's choice, popped out to the first baseman Molina, and then grounded out to the first baseman Molina. Curveball rolls in. That is a nasty pitch being thrown by Aaron Everett.
It shows you why he was a D1 prospect at one point in time, a talented pitcher, and I tell you, he's not any less talented right now. He just got an injury, and it kind of bounced him around to the NAI level, but he is back with full force.
Down and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Murphy. David Ware, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, awaits in the on-deck circle should Ware extend the inning. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Top half of the 7th inning. Getting ahead of ourselves there. Cumberland leading at 4-0. The pitch outside. It is now full, and the carousel will be underway.
That's an important pitch to miss with, because now what you do is you activate the runners. A full count, 2 outs, they're going to be off with the pitch, and you put one in the gap, and all of a sudden, the runner from first can score with ease.
The 3-2 breaking ball, strike 3 called as the curveball drops in. Murphy is gone on strikes. Adam Everett works out of a little bit of a jam here in the top half of the 7th inning. For Cumberland, no runs on 1 base hit. There is 1 error, 2 runners left on. It's time for the 7th inning stretch through 6.5. Cumberland 4 and Lee 0.
All 50-50 winners so far during the tournament are eligible for this prize.
Some of the crowd after the 7th inning stretch, not quite settling back into their seats yet. They have watched a good one tonight here in the championship game of the 2010 Avista NAI World Series. It is Cumberland University leading Lee University 4-0. So we now go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Edgar Molina, the first baseman, will lead it off. On the mound, Aaron Wilkerson. He has gone the distance. Pitch down low, ball 1. Molina, the first baseman, left-handed hitting junior, has popped out to his counterpart and flied out to left. So he is 0 for 2 in the ball game. The 1-0, swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. Molina has appeared in 63 ball games this year for Lee University. Find that interesting because they've only played 62. Something got written down wrong. In fact, up and down the statistics for Lee University are a number of guys who have appeared in 63 ball games. Pitch down low for the called strike, and it is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lee University's record is actually 52-12. I had them down at 52-10, so they've played 64 games this year. The 2-2 pitch, swung on, hit into the air, into shallow left. Miller's coming, or right, Miller's coming, not going to be able to get there. A leadoff single for Edgar Molina. And let's see what Lee can do here in the bottom half of the 7th inning as Michael Brown, the right fielder, steps in.
Again, another ball that wasn't hit very hard, as we've seen very few of those tonight off of Wilkerson, but the Flames will take just about anything they can get at this point in time. And now, especially a leadoff man, the first time they've had one of those on base since J.J. Costantino did it way back in the first inning.
4-0 our score. Michael Brown in the ball game tonight walked and was caught stealing in the 2nd inning. He struck out to end the 4th, so he's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Pitch delivered, swing and a miss, and a fastball offered up by Wilkerson. It is no balls, 1 strike. Aaron Wilkerson, one of a couple of workhorses on this staff, 92 1/3 innings coming into the ball game tonight. He's logged in 6 this evening. He has a 13-1 record on the year. Outfield for the most part straight away. Brown lifts the ball over to the right side of the infield, and the pop-up caught by the second baseman Murphy. Murphy came a long way to get that baseball off the bat of Brown. Molina, no chance to advance. There is 1 down, and it's Seth Walker, the left fielder. Get a look at it here. You see just how far Murphy comes to snag that baseball.
And it's a heads-up play by the pitcher and Wilkerson to get over and cover the bag. As you saw, at the very last second, Murphy tried to shovel it to him, possibly get the double play. A tough base-running decision there to make by Molina, about as good as he could do, though.
Seth Walker, the left fielder, the batter, 0 for 2 in the ball game, with a foul out to the first baseman Appleton, and then a fly ball to the right fielder Miller. Fastball, strike called. One of the big plays of this ball game was J.J. Costantino hit a liner out into right field to end the 6th inning that Miller ran down. That ball drops with 2 out. Running on the play was Bergstrom, who can fly. Certainly looked like it had extra bases on it before Miller snagged it. That ball's popped out of play. It is 0-2 on Walker. But that ball was probably the hardest hit ball of the day for Lee University, and it just found a glove, an atom ball.
Yeah, those are the ones you hate as players because you can't really feel bad about them, but you have nothing to show for it with your batting average.
I'll tell you who did that a couple times in this tournament was Wes Karch, third baseman for Point Loma.
He's a guy that always swings it well.
I like watching him play. The 0-2 swing and a miss. Gone on strikes is Walker. He might have got a piece of it. And holding on was the catcher, David Fanshaw. So after the leadoff single, Molina still at first base as there are now 2 down. And it is Taylor Comfort, the catcher, that'll step in. He has popped out. First baseman Greg Appleton's been very busy today. He got the pop out behind the mound off of Taylor Comfort's bat in the 3rd inning. And he flied to center in the 6th, did Comfort.
last year they changed the way the regional tournaments are done so that a bunch of the big guns wouldn't necessarily knock each other off. And I think the last 2 years we've definitely seen the top 10 teams come to Lewiston. The field was pretty competitive this week, and to kind of show you it, I mean, right now the number 2 and number 4 seeds are playing for the national championship, and even as early as today, 2 of the final 4 teams remaining, Embry-Riddle, they were a 7 seed, and Point Loma was a 9 seed. So a pretty balanced field, but no doubt the best 10 teams were in Lewiston this year.
That ball lifted out of play by Comfort. Count goes to 1-1. I think it's a great point. Really noticed it in last year's tournament and again in this year's tournament. Games are much cleaner. They're much quicker. You have depth in the pitching staff, which it seemed like under the old qualification standard, teams might get here, but all of a sudden in the third day of the tournament they were really struggling because they didn't have that up and down depth in the pitching staff. And other things, you look at Oklahoma City and Lubbock Christian. The 1-1 pitch is a strike called. It's 1-2. Look at Lubbock Christian, Oklahoma City. You look at Point Loma and Cal Baptist. One of those teams would have been here. Only one of those teams. And now you do get truly, I believe, the best 10 teams in the country, or at least the best 10 teams, how they're playing. LSU Shreveport didn't get here. Part of that was because Belhaven was playing better baseball. Time called.
Yeah, indeed. 6 out of the 9, or at 6 out of the 9 regional tournaments, the number 1 seed won, but there were 3 upsets, and as you said, Belhaven was one of them, and
the other one was Point Loma. They defeated the University of British Columbia down in that tournament of Fresno Pacific.
I was trying to think, they played phenomenal late in the season, because they were the 3 seed at the opening round tournament and the 9 seed here, and they hung around forever, it seemed.
That ball pounded off to the plate, right to T.J. Murphy. He'll toss it to Sam Kickla, and they'll get the force out on Edgar Molina. So the inning-ending fielder's choice by Taylor Comfort. In the inning, leadoff single, nothing else. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. Through 7 tonight in this championship game, it's Cumberland 4 and Lee 0.